Welcome back to the MadSpideyverse. I'm MadSpidey, and thanks once again for tuning in on our channel. Thought I'd do another one of my statue collection. So, I know I'm going to say this every single episode of my statue collection series, but obviously, if there's any new subscribers, never seen the channel before, never seen the video before, or never seen this particular series before, any of the above. Basically, I started collecting Bowen Designs statues. Now, Bowen Designs statues, back in the day, was the statue company. This is pre-Sideshow, pre-Iron Statues, pre-Hot Toys, pre-all of that. Basically started with the Marvel, well, they got the licensing for the Marvel statues. I think it was sort of mid to late 90s. I pretty much started sort of late 90s, went right up until, I'd say probably, maybe mid sort of, I'd say probably 2008, 2009, 2010, somewhere around that sort of time anyway. They basically did three ranges. They did a mini bust, they did a mini statue, and a full-size statue. Now, the mini statues were exactly the same as the full-size statues in most cases, just on a smaller scale. I pretty much tried to get the whole entire lot, me being the stupid completionist. But I thought there's no point in having mini and full-size statues, so I ended up selling and getting rid of the mini statues, so I just kept the mini bus and the full-size. Now, in saying that, the other good thing about Bowen Designs is they actually dived right into, you know, I wouldn't say the archives, but into sort of, you know, the B and C and D list characters a lot too. Mainly in the mini bus, because obviously, you know, sort of a lot easier to produce instead of, you know, the big size, full-size statues. And one of those sort of lesser known characters is what I'm actually going to show today. The other thing to note, obviously, there's different edition sizes. Most mini bus, which obviously, yeah, as I said, mini bus is what I'm going to show today. Most mini bus standard edition sizes were anywhere between sort of 2,000 to 3,000 up until sort of 5,000 or 6,000. Some were very rare, and some were obviously, you know, sort of very, very big runs. But still, even if you go sort of 5,000 pieces, that's worldwide. All distributed out of Bowen Designs in the US. So obviously a little bit harder to get, you know, in a lot of countries, especially over in Australia. So, but I did pretty well. Like, I amassed quite a lot of collection over the years. Unfortunately, they're no longer being made. So even trying to reacquire some now is a very expensive process. And I'm like, I haven't given up, but I've, like, obviously if I come across one that I haven't got, you know, and I have the spare cash or whatever like that, I would pick one up, definitely. But it's not on my priority list. But I'm still have a lot of them to go through, so I just obviously just love to share them with my subscribers and anybody who's watching. So, so as I said, it's a mini bust again today. The other reason why I'm sort of doing a few, like the last couple of episodes have been mini busts. I've also gotten into doing shorts on YouTube at the moment as well. So my good friend Mark from Legion of Comics suggested, you know, especially if you do your statue collection, do the normal pre-recorded video and then do a short, you know, just showcasing just the statue itself. I did buy one of those sort of, you know, display spinner sort of things. I've noticed it struggles a little bit of weight, so I'm like, if I do a full size, it may not even work. It may just sort of weigh down and just stop, you know, still. So I'll look at trying to buy a better, or one with a bit more durability at a later stage. But for the moment, I think I'll just do some of the mini busts. I might give it a try, see if there's a lighter full-size statue that I can try it with. But yeah, and as I said, a lot of this stuff is in storage as well, so getting to certain things is a little bit harder. You're pretty much just sort of grabbing the next one off the pile. But anyway, let's get into the actual piece itself. So as I said, a little bit more of an obscure character. This is a villain as well, and it's actually Whirlwind. So yeah, as far as I know, Whirlwind's a bit more of a, I think an Iron Man, more of based on an Iron Man villain from Tales. I think the first appearance, Tales to Astonish 49, 50, somewhere around there. So he's been around for a while. The other thing to note, obviously, with the box itself, obviously it shows you that. It also shows you the sculpt details, so who actually did the original prototype design for the sculpt, how tall it is, and things like that. And quite often, if there are a variation, so say for argument's sake, if there was a blue one and a green one, they quite often will show like pictures of both on the box, and it'll have some sort of sticker on the box saying regular version or variant version, whichever it happens to be. The other thing they don't do on the full-size statues is actually give you a sort of a synopsis of the character. They generally will give you a picture of the first appearance or something close to it, and then something a bit more modern, whether it be, you know, the last appearance that the character was in while this was being made, or something sort of, at least a little bit newer anyway. So we will get into it. The other thing to note, as I said before, with edition sizes, most of the minibuses were fairly decent size, sort of edition sizes. This actually wasn't one of those. It's only 1,000 units worldwide. This one's actually number 81. So, and as I've said in previous videos, I'm not too fussed about what number I get, whether it's an artist proof or it's the last number or the first number or somewhere in between, just a random number. As long as I was able to get one in my collection, I was just purely happy with that. So anyway, we'll get into the box, show you what it actually looks like. All right. Okay. The other thing, just a quick little FYI. Obviously, if you've ever bought any or seen any or unboxed any of these, generally on all of them, they will, on the actual foam itself, they will either say up, so you know which way to actually open it up, or they'll have the Bowen Designs symbol itself. So we know to have that facing up so we can actually open it. All right. Oh, stuck to the foam. It's a pretty cool, because this was one of the later phases, because that's the other thing to mention, is there was 5 phases for Bowen Designs. And pretty much the first phase was very basic, so a lot of the minibus had no arms, not much detail on the back and things like that. Same with the full-size statue, they're pretty much just straight up and down museum pose. But then obviously, as the phases went along, the years went along, they got a lot more elaborate. So this is one of the later phase ones, so definitely a lot more elaborate. So yeah, very, very cool. So yeah, as you can see, this one's actually got arms, actually got a bit more detail on the base with the whirlwind effect. The base itself is very basic, but also shows you underneath, so name, edition size, obviously copyright from Marvel and things like that. There's also the back. Yes, as I said, if this was like a phase 1, you probably wouldn't have got that. Probably wouldn't have got arms. Probably would have just been sort of straight up and down with a black base, and that would have been it. So yeah, very, very cool. So yeah, so there we go. So that's it for this particular video. The light flare's bad again in this video. I really got to work out a better ring light or something. But anyway, apart from that, thanks once again for tuning in. Thank you to all my subscribers. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget, obviously, hit the thumbs up, do all the usual YouTube stuff, hit the notification bell, leave a comment if you wish. But please, obviously, hit the subscribe button if you're not actually subscribed. That would be greatly appreciated. So, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. From Whirlwind and me, and Spidey out.